Ready?
No, wait 1 sec.
You distinguish between unit and unity.
Let me just see something. Yes. With the unity, I use the Y, and unit, I just use the vowel. Long UNT.
Ready?
Okay.
Do you recognize that document, Doctor? Yes, I do. Would I be fair to state that that document is a return of $122,000 to the debt card of the company decedent? Absolutely. Plaintiff's counsel, I'd like to offer that document in evidence, Your Honor. The court, fine. Defendant's counsel, no objection. The court, without objection. I would like to revisit, with the court's permission, the area in which we had discussed the medical stockings, and you said it was not your practice to your office to use them. Do you remember saying that? Yes. Would you agree, doctor, or disagree that a patient who is 79 years of age undergoing an invasive operation has a greater chance of developing a pulmonary embolism than one not having surgery? The court. That's a generic question, I assume? Plaintiff's counsel, a general question, Your Honor. A general question that a 78-year-old woman undergoing surgery of any type has an increased ability to develop a thromboembolism than somebody not undergoing surgery. Is that the question? I did not say thromboembolism. I said a pulmonary embolism. Is that the question? Yes. You mean under general ether, not local? Forgive me for being pointed and imprecise. I apologize. Does a patient who is undergoing an operation generally have a greater chance or an enhanced chance because of the surgery to develop an embolism or an embolic condition? In your opinion, the court. It's a general question, doctor. If you can answer it, fine. If not, let counsel know. In a general sense, I would say theoretically, or would you say theoretically, yes? Yes, I would. Okay, would you agree or disagree, doctor, that a person who is undergoing ether, who is 79 years of age, has a greater chance of developing cardiac infarct than one who is not undergoing surgery and taking ether? General anesthesia, absolutely yes. The court, we are talking about general? Plaintiff's counsel, any ether. The court, any. All right, go ahead. Including the anesthesia that you administered? I think it's the same question. Is it not the same question? It seems like it is the same question you just asked, counsel. I am asking you with regard to anesthesia, doctor, does a patient who is undergoing anesthesia have a greater chance of developing an embolism to the lung because of the administration of the anesthesia as compared to a person who is not undergoing anesthesia? I don't believe for local anesthesia that is true. I absolutely agree that it is true for general anesthesia. You are classifying your anesthesia as a local anesthesia, doctor? Local twilight, yes, it's called neuroleptic. The court, we are talking about the anesthesia administered to Ms. Rose, are we? Plaintiff's counsel, yes. You are saying that does not increase the chance of a pulmonary embolism in a patient who is 67 years of age? I don't believe it does, no. And with regard to a patient who is recumbent substantially, for the most part, 15 and a half hours after 2.5 hours of surgery, who is 67 years of age, would you agree or disagree that that patient is more prone to develop a pulmonary embolism than one who is not recumbent for 15 and a half hours after surgery? I would agree with you. You would agree that she would be more prone, yes, to developing a thromboembolism or pulmonary embolism? I think so, yes. When you were talking to us about the conversations that you had by telephone while Adele was in the car, something bothered me, and I'd like to bring it up to you, sir. Defendant's counsel, Your Honor, I'm going to object to the comment. The court, yes. Defendant's counsel, I apologize for that. The court, counsel's remarks are stricken. You had indicated to us in the telephone call, that second telephone call, that you wanted the nurse to loosen up her bandages? Correct. Isn't it a fact, sir, that the patient had a facial cast on? No. Not at all. It was not a hard cast at all. It was not a hard surface. Nobody has ever put a hard surface cast on a post-facelift patient ever. I am asking you. No, she did not have a cast. Because I did not know that. That is totally inaccurate. The dressings, if I might, just for the benefit of the jury, because they are important. Excuse me, don't address the jury. It's not your role here to do that. I'll explain to you. It's a soft wad made of cotton. It's as soft as cotton. It is cotton. That's all it is, with an ace bandage, which we are all aware of for knee injuries or any sort of ankle injuries. That's all that was. No cast at all. Bear with me one moment, please, doctor. One last question. When you spoke to one of the daughters on the phone, on at least the first conversation, you said you had gotten the impression that she was not overly concerned about what was happening in the car with her mother. Is that correct? The first conversation, yes. The first conversation? Yes, the first conversation. Do you know which daughter that was? No. And when you say she was not overly concerned, that is your opinion. Is that not so? Absolutely. Can you tell us what your position was based upon? The first conversation was a relatively mild conversation. She was kind of complaining that the dressing was tight and a little bit anxious. And that is what the daughter said? That is the combined conversation. Excuse me, doctor, don't talk about what the nurse said. She is not here. I can't discriminate what one versus the other said. I can't. I don't remember that well enough to know 6 years later. I just don't. That was my impression at the time. Dr. Sachs, can you tell us where you attended medical school? I went to Loyola University in Chicago. What did you graduate from? Well, in 1976. What degree did you receive? Medical degree, MD. What was the next thing you did in your medical training after that? I continued as a surgical resident at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in New York City. For what period of time? For 1 year.
It's a little tough.